Welcome to Churches. Turkey. Straddling two continents, shaped by millennia of empires, and rich in spiritual legacy, Turkey is a land where history breathes through stone, scripture, and sacred space. Known in ancient times as Asia Minor, and later as the heartland of the Byzantine and Ottoman empires, this nation has long been a crossroads of civilizations. From the shimmering Bosphorus in the west to the high plateaus of the east, Turkey holds a unique place in the story of faith. Today, it is a predominantly Muslim country, yet its soil cradles the roots of Christianity. From Mount St. Benedict, Trinidad and Tobago, Curtis Marcellin embarks on a journey of enlightenment. To Turkey. This is the land of the seven churches of Revelation. The birthplace of St. Paul. The home of early Christian councils, ancient cathedrals, hidden chapels, and vibrant Christian communities, some surviving, others remembered only by stone and story. In this series, Curtis Marcellin journeys through time and terrain to explore the sacred architecture and spiritual significance of churches across Turkey. Welcome to Churches. Turkey. Welcome to this special episode of Churches. Today, Curtis shares with you one of the most breathtaking landmarks in all of Turkey, the Hagia Sophia, or Holy Wisdom. For nearly 1,500 years, this magnificent structure has been at the very crossroads of history, faith, and empire. It stands at one end of Sultanahmet Square, only a 2-minute walk from the Blue Mosque, or the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, which is also famous in its own right. Of these two major neighboring attractions, the Hagia Sophia is particularly valued for its long historical presence and rich Byzantine and Ottoman history, which translates into both a Christian and a Muslim story. The Blue Mosque is undeniably beautiful. Built on the command of the Sultan, it is a wonder of Ottoman architecture, completed in 1616. 20,000 blue ceramic and hand-painted Iznik tiles make it an exquisite sight. Curtis, however, feels that the Hagia Sophia has the edge for him, since it was already 1,000 years old when the Blue Mosque was built, so it has a rich and complex history, putting it at the center of controversy, even today. Hagia Sophia, a sacred echo of Christian glory. It has stood for nearly 1,500 years. A cathedral, a mosque, a museum, and now a mosque again. But to Christians, the Hagia Sophia remains one of the most sacred echoes of our past. Hagia Sophia means holy wisdom or divine wisdom. Muslims call it the Great Church or the Hagia Sophia. Note that the name is not related to the early Christian martyr, Saint Sophia. The Hagia Sophia was built in 537 AD by Emperor Justinian I as the Church of Holy Wisdom. It was the greatest cathedral of the Eastern Christian world for nearly 1,000 years. And the centerpiece of Orthodox Christianity and the Byzantine Empire. At the dedication, Emperor Justinian I said, "Solomon, I have surpassed thee." It was where emperors were crowned, and ecumenical councils met. A marvel of Byzantine architecture, unparalleled in its time. The most conspicuous feature of the Hagia Sophia is its unique dome structure. It is outstanding and extraordinary and served as the model for later Ottoman structures in Turkey, and across the globe. Despite two partial collapses after earthquakes in the 10th and 14th centuries, the general form of the dome today remains essentially unchanged from that of 562. Structural repairs however involved the placement of additional buttressing. The massive central dome, 31 meters across, 55 meters high, seems to float in the air, supported by hidden engineering tricks. For centuries, it was the largest dome in the world and defied imagination. You can imagine how people entering in the 6th century must have felt looking up, as if heaven itself was opening. Even recently one visitor said, "One knows not whether they were in heaven or on earth." The Hagia Sophia is vast, it swallows you whole. Light pours in through 40 windows around the base of the dome, making the structure glow. Experiencing the space inspires a sense of awe and humility. Architects say that the building was conceived to transmit the power of light. Light is associated with the sacred and with the idea of wisdom. The mosaics, hidden and revealed. In 1453 Sultan Mehmet II captured Constantinople, now Istanbul, from the Byzantine Christians. He immediately went to pray at the Hagia Sophia, and while ordering the covering up of Christian icons, mosaics, and pictures, he did not order their destruction. Today, at the Hagia Sophia, we can still see these Byzantine Christian mosaics, now revealed. Though some may be covered over during the Muslim prayer time. For example, the Desus mosaic, dating from 1261, shows Christ Pantocrator in the center, with the Virgin Mary on his left and John the Baptist on his right, interceding for humanity on Judgment Day. The apse mosaic, the Virgin and Child, 9th century, shows the Virgin Mary seated on a throne holding the Christ child. This image is 16 feet high and known as the Theotokos, which is a title for Mary, the mother of Jesus, meaning God-bearer, or Mother of God. This image is visible from the upper gallery but often partially covered by a curtain when prayers are underway. Emperor Constantine IX and Empress Theodora mosaic. Christ shown in the center, flanked by the imperial couple. Imperial donor mosaic, dating from the 10th century, shows Christ enthroned with Emperor Constantine, offering a model of Constantinople, and Emperor Justinian, offering a model of the Hagia Sophia. Presenting a large and dramatic image are the 6-winged angels known as seraphim, based on the description in the book of Isaiah, chapter 6, verse 2. Above him stood the seraphim. Each had 6 wings, with 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. In Christian iconography, seraphim are often placed in sacred architectural spaces like domes and apse areas to signify their proximity to God. Today, following the example of Sultan Mehmed II, the icons and frescoes representing Christianity are covered up during Muslim worship. Only those facing Mecca. The others are left uncovered. After 1453, the Hagia Sophia was the Grand Mosque for the Ottoman Turks, until 1935 when it was converted into a museum. During that time they added Muslim structures such as minarets, the mihrab and the minbar, and also decorative calligraphy. Minarets have traditionally been used for the call to prayer, azan. They are also prominent visual features that serve as a landmark locating the mosque. Mihrab, a niche in the wall facing the faithful. It indicates the direction of Mecca. It is usually highly decorated with calligraphy, tiles, and ornamentation to emphasize its spiritual significance. Minbar, a pulpit from which the imam delivers sermons. The minbar is usually positioned to the right of the mihrab. Calligraphy, the huge wooden roundels bear the names of Allah, Muhammad and his grandsons, Hassan and Hussein, and 4 caliphates. The Hagia Sophia attracts millions of visitors every year. For many, the story of its shifting identity is in itself an attraction. 537 AD, built by Emperor Justinian I. The biggest Christian cathedral, church, in the world. 1453, Constantinople, Istanbul, captured by the Ottoman Turks. The Hagia Sophia converted into a mosque. 1923, Ottoman Caliphate came to an end. Turkey becomes a republic. 1935, the Hagia Sophia declared a museum showcasing the Byzantine, Christian, and Islamic heritage of Turkey. 2020, the Turkish government declared the Hagia Sophia a mosque. Does the story continue? There is still much controversy and different views on what the status of the Hagia Sophia should be. Curtis concludes. Only time will tell. Do you know that John Chrysostom, the Bishop of Constantinople, Istanbul, 398-404 AD, is highly revered as a doctor of the Church, a saint, and an early Church Father, known as the Golden-Mouthed for his eloquent preaching. He is honored as a saint in Eastern Orthodox, Oriental Orthodox, Catholic, Anglican, and Lutheran churches. An outspoken critic of the elite in his day, who lived lives of extravagance and corruption, he was constantly at the center of conflict and controversy. Matters came to a head when he criticized the Empress Eudoxia, who sought to erect a silver statue of herself near the Hagia Sophia. He was banished. And confrontation between his supporters and those of the Empress ended in the burning of the Hagia Sophia in 404. He died in 407 in captivity. The Hagia Sophia was burned again in 532 AD, and was eventually rebuilt by Justinian I, the structure we see today. Today, a 1,000-year-old mosaic of St. John Chrysostom survives in the current Hagia Sophia. It serves as a visual reminder of the turbulent relationship between the outspoken archbishop, the empress, and the city's great cathedral. Happiness can only be achieved by looking inward and learning to enjoy whatever life has, and this requires transforming greed into gratitude. Let the mouth also fast from disgraceful speeches and railings. For what does it profit if we abstain from fish and fowl and yet bite and devour our brothers and sisters? The evil speaker eats the flesh of his brother and bites the body of his neighbor. Everywhere, wherever you may find yourself, you can set up an altar to God in your mind by means of prayer. When you are weary of praying, and do not receive, consider how often you have heard a poor man calling, and have not listened. Why not learn to enjoy the little things? There are so many of them.
As I bring this amazing episode to a close, I find myself still in awe of the Hagia Sophia, a place so rich in history. This is a monument that I simply could not take in with a single visit. It drew me back again and again and again, each time offering something new, something deeper. The atmosphere here is more than architecture or history. It's a space of peacefulness, reverence, and reflection. The Hagia Sophia embodies the extraordinary coexistence of two great faiths, Christianity and Islam. Stepping here, one cannot help but feel both intrigued and humbled. It is more than a landmark. It is a living testimony of faith, resilience, and humanity's search for the divine. For me, it has become a place of deep reflection and reverence. I am Curtis Marcellin. Thank you for joining me in yet another episode of Churches. Peace.